Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, rulers, shills, desolators, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm a useful idiot. Welcome, and actually, good morning here. And I'm a useful idiot. Maybe I already said that. It's kind of early in the morning. But anyway, today I want to talk about Libya. Very interesting circumstances unfolding there. I did a video previously about ISIS declaring they had a presence in Libya. And at the time, it was a mere germ of a presence. And since then, it has blossomed. And so we see this very interesting situation. Just first of all, Libya has, of course, a symbiotic relationship with ISIS throughout that region because a flood of weapons that NATO provided, of course, ended up in Libya, and then from Libya spread throughout the region. So inevitably, a lot of the weapons that ISIS got their hands on came from Libya, certainly in the past, and probably continually. And so now we also see this phenomenon that I've discussed in other videos, and of course other pundits have discussed as well, where the ISIS is a franchise, and we saw that recently with Boko Haram in Nigeria, who have really nothing to do with ISIS in the Middle East, who declare they are part of the organization now and part of this new franchise, ISIS. And so we're seeing that in Libya now, and not only are we seeing the same formula in Libya as far as a new franchise developing there, not necessarily ISIS fighters streaming from their main focus in the Iraq and Syria, ending up in Libya, although we're seeing that now. Initially, it's just groups there declaring that they are part of that same movement. And because of ISIS' success, we're going to see more of that. We're going to see ISIS filling this vacuum. But another layer of this same formula that we've seen is we see once again in Libya that forces that used to be on the so-called Western side, the United States side, who are fighting against the Gaddafi government, and then were serving the new government in Libya, are now declaring their allegiance to ISIS. And so once again we find U.S.-trained leaders, U.S.-trained foot soldiers, U.S.-supplied weapons, and U.S.-supplied logistical knowledge and all the like that go with that, now being used by ISIS in Libya. And overall, I think one of the things that's interesting is, like I say, seeing this pattern that ISIS, they thrive on chaos, they fill these vacuums, and that's what we're seeing everywhere. Nigeria being certainly a variation, but Syria and Iraq and Libya certainly all fall into that category of complete states that are falling into chaos, thriving, and ISIS is thriving in that situation. And also, like I've talked about, other opportunists using these perpetual cycles of violence to further their agenda. We see ISIS doing that as well. They're starting this cycle of violence in Libya, including that gruesome, if it's real, the beheading of over 20 Coptic Christians, which is announced very loudly that ISIS is in Libya. And so previously I was a little skeptical just how much real ISIS presence there was in Libya, but now it's pretty safe to say that through this methodology that they use, ISIS is now entrenched and spreading rapidly in Libya, and in fact forces loyal to ISIS there are now taking on so-called Al-Qaeda elements. They're taking on local militias. They're taking on what's left of the Libya government, and they're also taking on General Hifter, the previous government supporter who is now attacking the Islamic militias and going after the Libyan government. So we have another player in this Libyan clusterfuck now, ISIS. So all the more tragic for Libya to have all these bad actors all in one place, tearing their country apart. But we will see this perpetual cycle of perpetual violence in Libya that ISIS will perpetrate in Islamic communities. We'll be sending more recruits their way as we see these kind of activities spread. And notable in one of the articles I read that Gaddafi turned out to be a very smart man, because he gave a speech before Libya fell to NATO in February 2011, and he said that, quote, "They will turn Libya into another Afghanistan, another Somalia, another Iraq. Your women won't be allowed out. They will transform Libya into an Islamic emirate, and then America will bomb the country under the pretext of fighting terrorism," unquote. And as we speak, Western powers are discussing once again an intervention in Libya to fight ISIS and all the other hell that the NATO and Western forces have already unleashed there. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.